Alright, what's up guys? I was going through my old videos and realized that some of the information from the older ones are really kind of invalid, and the one that I wanted to remake this time around was about what missions you should be doing, the best missions to do for your character, and how you actually grind on this game. So I will be answering all those questions and basically updating a previous older video that is no longer relevant at this point, with the addition of the group missions that now give insanely good 4 times multiplied rewards that you should pretty much just be doing solely. So first off, what do you do? Whether you're a new player or a mid-game player, the one thing that you can do is click your play button, and this will show you on the storyline that you're on. As a quick aside, they just added the Canny Valley storyline, which means that players that did have it done before have to go back and do like this different version. Normally this would be blank, this play tab for me, because I've done every mission of the game. Since they added this one though, it is now an actual storyline like you're familiar with from Stonewood and Plankerton. Now Canny Valley has one, Twine still doesn't have one. Twine Peaks has just a list of random fucking missions that you have to do that seems like it takes forever, and that was what Canny Valley used to have, and now has an actual storyline to it. So clicking the play tab will show you your current campaign sort of storyline of what you're focusing on, what basically is going on in the game, and you can pretty much do this at your leisure, at your will. However, you need to complete all the pages before you can advance to the next zone. So you need to do all the ones in Stonewood before getting to Plankerton, all the ones in Plankerton before getting to Canny, yada yada yada. Okay, so you can do that. All right, secondary quests are these side quests, guys. Don't forget about these side quests, because even if you complete all the ones that are available to you at a current point, when you advance more in the game, more of these side quests become unlocked. I still haven't even finished mine yet, to be honest with you. I haven't really made it a priority, but there's probably only a few more left. Why should you do these? Because some of these will give you huge chunks of like survivor XP. I remember doing these in a few times, getting like chunks of like 160,000 or more survivor XP, and that is just really good to have those out of the way. Now, is it as good as it used to be before the 4 times multipliers came out for group missions? Probably not, but they're still worth doing. And if you want to go for that completionist thing, then keep that in mind. Maybe your friend is doing something that doesn't quite match up with your current quests and your storyline. However, maybe you're like ahead of him, but you want him to kind of catch up so you guys can sync up, so to speak. Then consider maybe looking at some of your side quests and say, oh, well, I can do one of your main quests as a side quest of mine. Why don't we do a fight category 3 storm, since that's one of the ones that you need, and it's one of the ones that I could still progress with on my side quest. So consider doing those. You also have your daily quests. So these will give you your V-Bucks, don't forget. If you're a Battle Royale player and you're only here for that, then that's what you're doing, I guess. And if you find one that's more difficult, maybe you have one that says, kill as many husks with a ninja character or something like that, and you don't even have one, or you don't have one leveled up, that would be fun to actually complete that mission. At the bottom here, next to pin quest, there'll be an option to replace the quest. You can do that, I think, once a day. You can replace a quest. It'll just get rid of that one, give you a new random one. So it might be better, it might be worse, who knows. The most you can hold at one time, though, is 3. And if I didn't do any of these and days went by like they are now, because I just don't really focus on doing them much anymore, it won't give me any additional ones until I actually complete any of these ones. So you have your main storyline page here. You have your side quests that you can do. You have your daily quests that you can do. And we also have a couple different events going on. So if you want to participate in those events, then feel free to do that as your quest as well. Sometimes on the map screen, you'll see it. These are the 4 main ones, like, Stonewood, Plankerton, Canny, and Twine. And here, like the special event one is right here. It's sometimes they're down here, but that's a special event one. It's here temporarily, and in this case, at the time of filming, it's a horde, which I really don't care for that much. I did a few of them personally, and I don't really need anything from it, so I just kind of didn't even complete it. But quest-wise, that's what you can do. Aside from that, if you don't really feel like working on your main storyline, or let's say you're done with your main storyline, you're ready to go on to Plankerton or Canny Valley, but your power level is lower than where it should be. Maybe you got done with Plankerton and you know, you're like level 30, you know, and you want to get some levels up before you go into candy, because the low level candy is 46. You know what I'm saying? Or I guess now, right now, as a lot of people are finishing canny and ready for twine at like level 46 or something like that. They're like way too low, way too low. I mean, you should be going into twine at, yeah, honestly, 70. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it could be earlier, but for you to go through these areas with a breeze, you should be around, you know, the recommended power level. You know, obviously. Now, if you're playing with other players, it'll boost you up. That's a side thing. Anyways, so, you know, you have the quests that you can do. Let's talk about your power level briefly, okay? If you're in a position where you're advanced or able to advance to the next zone and you need to catch up on the power level, guys, watch my video. Go to my channel, fucking find it in the My Videos tab, and it's a video that's 40 minutes long, okay? But it'll be the best 40 minutes that you ever invested in, because I'll tell you what, that video about how to level up effectively, I think it's called, will break down everything that you need to know. Like, maybe you're confused with squads, or maybe you're confused with how you actually level up, or the most effective way to level up. I know the video is a little bit old, but like 95% of that information is still valid. The only bit that's really not is, I guess, what quests. I don't know if I talked about what quests you should be running for that, but I'm going to talk about that now, so don't you worry about that now, all right? And also, there was a side thing in here that talked about being more careful about leveling up survivors. You don't really have to worry about that anymore, because you can retire them and get all the materials back, like lightning and raindrops and stuff like that, whereas before you weren't able to. So aside from that, though, everything in that video is completely relevant. So getting back on topic here with like missions you could be running, missions you could be grinding for, use the stormshield1.com website, okay? And if you don't want to use it, you don't have to, but it's a really, really good tool to have, because you can like check mark a box that says group mission, and then check mark any of the areas. Like if you want to look at Stonewood and Plankerton or Canny, or just Canny, or maybe a couple zones, you can do that, and it'll organize and show you all the active group missions, or whatever, you know, selection you have going on. And it's just a way to more easily look at what's happening currently, since, you know, missions in the game will rotate all in one spot instead of zoning and scrolling around. But if you don't want to do that, you can do this anyways. So what you want to be doing, guys, is these 4-player group missions, okay? This was a couple updates ago, maybe, I think, that they put these in here, but 4 times rewards. They never used to have any of this. You know, if you did a 4-player mission, you would just get the regular amount of raindrops, which would be like 12. You know what I mean? Now, doing this one will get you like 100 or some shit. You know what I mean? You get 4 times the regular amount plus the 18 one-time bonus. And that's a shit ton of raindrops right there. And if you're like mid-level, you will want raindrops. You'll need thousands and thousands and thousands of raindrops, guys, because like I said in other videos, you need them to level up, to evolve things from, like, you know, your first evolution to the second, and then the second to the third to the fourth, fourth to the fifth. You'll need raindrops all the way through. It'll take you like 300 raindrops, I think, to get something from 1 star to 5 stars. You know what I mean? Through the evolution phase. That goes for a hero, schematic, anything. So you want to get the power level up. The biggest bulk in your power level, as you would see if you watch my video, is leveling up your survivors in your squads, okay? More specifically, the lead survivor will give you the biggest bang for your buck. So you will come to a point where either you're going to need a lot of raindrops and you're kind of stuck, but you have the survivor XP but not the raindrops, or you have the raindrops but not the survivor XP. So you need to do whatever it is that you need to do. You know what I'm saying? So if you're stuck and you're at a point where like you're at no survivor XP, stop for a little bit. You know what I mean? And find one of these missions, and it'll tell you, like, look, this one's got 5 hours left. If I needed raindrops and I just wanted to say, fuck it, I'm tired of, like, you know, stopping every day to get raindrops a little bit, and then level up one time and a little bit more, and level up one time with one gun or one survivor, I would just do this for fucking 5 hours and just get a shit ton of raindrops and be stocked up for all my guns, all my survivor XP. And even if you think that, like, you'll be good forever, there was a time that I had, like, 3,000 raindrops. I'm thinking, I'm never gonna have to get raindrops again, and then it hit me at like level 88 or something like that. I'm like, oh shit, like, I can't believe I ran out. Like, oh my god, I almost forgot I even needed raindrops because I had so many for so long. So you kind of want to just find one that's like a good, if you're coming on to like grind things out, like this is progression, guys. Okay, so stockpile on anything that you're short of. Go to your armory tab, go to your resources, like look and see what you have. Like I'm getting kind of low on Eye of the Storm, you know. I did stockpile at one point. I had like 500, and now I'm kind of down, so I could stop and do Eye of the Storm. So I would look for me personally, if I wanted to stockpile evolution materials, I would be looking for, you know, 4-player missions that have a good set of time on it that are giving me 4 times Eye of the Storm rewards or raindrops or whatever. You can also find 4-player missions that give you 4 times hero XP. So if you're working on leveling up your hero more, maybe you're deciding to make a secondary hero. Like if you haven't already, make a farming Outlander. I'll talk about that in a second. As your secondary character for sure, guys. If you don't have one, you're only delaying the inevitable, because you will eventually have one, and the sooner you make one, the sooner you will be thanking me for having suggested to make one, because you'll be realizing, wow, I can't believe I was farming resources on anything other than one of those characters. It's so much easier, like 10 times faster, honestly. So if you need schematic XP, look for one that gives you 4 times that. If I were you guys, and I had this when I was leveling up, it just makes it so much easier. My God. I mean, just, God. I think my other video I talked about just how people used to only do encampment, radar grid, and rescue survivors. Those are the only 3 missions you can even find people in at one point in Twine. Like, those were the only ones. You couldn't even do, like, a Ride the Lightning or anything, because nobody would run them. You'd be soloing it if you wanted to, and soloing it just wasn't worth it. Because back in the day, a little side story is like, why would anybody want to do a Ride the Lightning that gives you 12 raindrops when I could just do a radar grid that gives me 12 raindrops and have it be way easier? So now they changed a lot of things. They made these ones give more, you know, higher rewards, and not only that, but the group missions give 4 times now. You just have to find it. So basically, you know, if I were you guys, what I'm saying is I would just be doing the group missions. That's it. Like if I needed to do a main storyline quest, which is like an Atlas mission or something like that, I would first look and see if there's a Cat 3 I need to do for my main storyline. I would for sure do this one. Look at that, 4 times Survivor XP. So if you're looking at that power level and you have a decent amount of evolution materials, Survivor XP, guys, you are going to need millions. I think getting one survivor from 1 star to max, like 50 out of 50, 5 stars, is I don't know if it's 600,000 or 300,000, somewhere in there. Okay, per survivor, and you're gonna have tons. So you're gonna literally need millions and millions and millions of survivor XP to eventually hit cap. So anytime that, if you don't need evolution materials, if you're in kind of a dull, but you will still want to play the game, maybe your friends are on, try and see if there's anything that they need to do that's a group mission that gives 4 times, because you can always tag along with other people. Like, just because maybe some of your friends or some of your mates aren't doing exactly what you need to do for your storyline doesn't mean you can't benefit from what they're doing. You know what I mean? You know, if you go on to log on one day and you're like, I'm just going to work on my storyline, but your friends are all doing this, I would just hop in with them and do that. You know what I mean? Do the 4-player ones, and because it's all progression at the end. You'll be thanking yourself later. Don't try and keep playing catch up on everything. Try and like stockpile shit, basically. Stockpile raindrops, stockpile survivor XP, because you don't want to be at a point where it's just really frustrating being at a point where you can't advance because you're lacking raindrops only or Eye of the Storm only. You know what I mean? If you have everything stockpiled on downtime, then it just makes it that much easier being able to, you know, when you get a new hero that you want, level it right up to 4 stars or 5 stars, whatever you want to do. Okay, so you've got those. You got those group missions, you have the side quests, you have your main storyline. These are all things that you can do to progress both within the game and just, you know, your power level and everything like that you should be focusing on. And grinding, like I said, would be like a 4-player mission. Like if I need Eye of the Storm, this isn't a locked-in. See how there's no timer here? Like this one has a timer. So it's 5 hours. If I did this like once or twice, it would be gone off the screen. But if I found one with a timer on it, you know, I could stay here and grind Eye of the Storm all the live long goddamn day. You know what I mean? If I wanted to. So, aside from all this, whatever I do want to talk a little bit about this. Is pretty much that's what you should be doing quest wise. I will go on a small tangent here and talk about a couple things about heroes, because I think it's also something you could be doing. Don't worry too much about mission defenders, just as a quick aside. I mean, if anything, get a sniper defender, give him either a obliterator sniper rifle or a neon sniper rifle. Obliterator, both of them will shoot through walls, which is great because you can just put the defender out, box him in. Don't even give him windows or nothing. Just like box him in so he gets protected, and he'll be able to shoot through all the walls and kill enemies and stuff. And what's really great in those 4-player missions, which I failed to mention, is that even if you fill a group with 4 people, each of the 4 people can actually summon a defender. And these sniper defenders aren't a joke. They're nothing to sneeze at. They do actually help. They tweak defenders so much since the start of the game, whereas nobody ever used them, even after the first 2 or 3 times that they tried to improve them, and then they finally just said, okay, we're gonna actually make them pretty good now, and they are. You know what I mean? So it's actually worth me like leveling up. I'm working on legendary perking this. Anyway, so you want to give him like one of these guns because they can shoot through the walls. You can protect him fully, without worrying about lobber damage and stuff like that killing them. And I eventually decided to go with neon instead of obliterator just because I was tired of crafting heavy bullets. It's just it takes me every time I would put a defender out, I would craft like a shit ton of heavy bullets and go through them all. And then, I used the shadow shard. So this one I actually made obsidian. It's less damage, but I don't have to make them every 2 seconds. And it uses energy ammo, so I can craft these 100 bullets at a time rather than 10. So it's just easier for me. I'd probably get more damage out of it if I went, obviously, shadow shard, but I don't care. Whatever. So I don't know what I was even talking about now. Defender. Oh, yeah, heroes. So, like, if you're newer to the game, or just don't forget, because I'm seeing like middle of the line people doing this, but like if you're playing a guy that specializes in a certain weapon, use that fucking weapon. I don't know why people are running around like as a Jonesy character. Look, assault damage right here. Increase assault weapon damage by 24%. Would it make sense to use a pistol or shotgun? No. Why? Because you're missing out on 24% damage, guys. I don't know why I'm seeing people running around like that. I mean, look, I know people, not everybody's taking the game as serious as I can, but just read the card, you know what I mean? Like, I think a lot of these people are just using it just for the sake of using it. They don't even know. So if you look at like my Raider, Rabbit Raider, or like Raider Nomad, these guys are shotgun specialists. So increase your shotgun damage by 24% right here. So there's no reason for me to use anything. And then here, again, shotgun critical hit damage by 70%. So there's no reason for me to use anything other than shotguns, because if I did, I'd be missing out on 24% damage and 70% critical hit damage. You know what I'm saying? Some heroes don't have a specialization. This guy doesn't have one. Carbide, okay? It doesn't say anything about assault damage or shotgun damage or pistol damage. So what does that mean? Well, that means you can just use whatever gun you want, because there's no bonus to any specific weapon. So that means that all guns are fair game, basically. You know what I mean? You look at somebody like Raven. On the other hand, this guy, he doesn't really specialize in anything except he would want to use pistols, because eliminating enemies with pistols reduces a cooldown left and right, which is one of his abilities. So, keep that in mind, guys, if you don't know. So whatever character you're playing is sort of your main hero. Like, I had one of these guys. I think I played this guy for a good chunk of the game because I liked the look of him, and he was a soldier, which was, overall it's a pretty good class to play. And he had survivalist, he was just a well-balanced character, a little bit of utility and survivability and sustain and damage, you know what I mean? So it's a good, like, middle-of-the-road character for me to play, and then I eventually changed my whole playstyle to specialize in shotguns, and that's what I'm using now. So, that's my main guide. But, aside from that, you can, you obviously want to level up your hero, level up your gun to a decent level. But, I do see a lot of people still, like, if I gave, like, a level 10 guy a level 130 weapon, it wouldn't be that beneficial. So if you go to, what is it? Not Survivor. 1 second here. Heroes. There we go. See all stats. And you scroll down to, where is it? Max effective weapon level. Maximum weapon level this character can effectively wield. Higher level weapons will act as if they were this level while equipped. So if this guy was, let's see. If I actually replace, I want to see what actually, okay, so maybe it is my power level that's affecting that. I'm not sure. But if your thing isn't 50, They may have changed some of these things. Maybe they did change it so that everybody always gets a 50 on here. They're changing so much now. Anyways, don't worry about getting these. Like, I don't know why. There's kids running around with like 130 guns that, it just doesn't really make any sense. I'll load into missions and people are asking me to craft them 130 so they can add it to their collection. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, oh, I just collect them. I'm like, why? What? Like, look at my I don't have room to hold on to a bunch of guns, and you won't either if you actually play the game. Like, look at my backpack. Like, some rocket launchers, some snipers for defenders, but, like, just a couple of my main guns, and then look at everything else is here. I mean, like, you won't, this is what your inventory is going to look like eventually down the road. You won't have room for, like, to keep one of every fucking little gun in here. Like, get out of here. How are you doing? Doesn't make any sense. Of course, I understand that, some people are just playing it for the little shiny gold guns and walking around and showing them off to their little friends and stuff like that, and then getting scammed and then crying about it, and that's how they enjoy the game. But for those of us that actually want to advance and progress through and actually make your own guns and enjoy the game, don't do that shit, or just stop doing it. Anyways, that was a huge tangent. Wanted to talk about heroes. I think I did already. Use squad bonus slots. I mean, I'll have to make another video on this because it's kind of getting way off topic here, but, I don't know. Use something that's going to be beneficial to you is the point. And then lastly, I really wanted to say that, if you're playing whatever you're playing as your main character, your first secondary character that you make should be either like the Pathfinder or Striker AC. One of these Outlanders, not just an Outlander, but an Outlander that actually specializes in farming. Striker AC is my favorite because his punch ability that can like hit 10 cars has got like a 3-second cooldown, and you get like a shit ton of metal. You fill up on resources so quickly. And Pathfinder just has a punch too, but it's not as on short of a cooldown. I would use him and then actually Pathfinder Jess as your squad support slot, because you'll actually get additional harvesting tool damage. Okay, so anyways, that should be your secondary character. Tertiary characters could include, but are not limited to, maybe making a ninja if you don't main one, so that you can go into, God, this song is like getting on my nerves. You can go into lower level missions and not have to worry about, expending ammunition or using up durability in your guns, and just going there with like a melee sword that's leveled up somewhat decently and just one-shot everything. Just making it easy for yourself if there's nothing going on in your high level area. So anyways, I think that's going to wrap it up. I don't want to make it too long, but I did want to definitely update my older video as far as like what missions you should be running and how to grind and how you can get the biggest bang for your buck on missions. Guys, group missions are where it's at. Use Storm Shield 1, stuff like that. In closing, I am streaming on Twitch every now and again because it's so exciting. People want to see me build radar grids. I mean, that's top-notch entertainment right there, right? But I'm mostly on there, just to chill. I put on some chill hop music, and, it's usually the same crew, but stop by the stream. Sometimes I'll play with people. Sometimes I do fun stuff, and sometimes I'm just an asshole. So it really, I don't know. But I have a Discord too. I'll put that in the description. Guys, read the description of my videos, please. If there's anything that does come out that's relevant, I'll try and keep everything updated. But as we all know, over time, different updates on this game can change a lot of things in the future. So the best way to, stay on top of these things is if you do join the Discord, there's actually a section in there that's like ask looped this question, or like leave me messages here, and I do answer those every time. Sometimes it takes me a day or so, but if somebody has a question, they ask me and they leave it on there, I will get to it and answer it directly. And sometimes that's the best way. Or you can stop by the stream, and I don't know, ask me questions, shit like that if you have more. But hopefully helping guide you guys on to a correct path if anybody's confused or sort of feel like they are plateaued somewhere. Keeping that motivation going in mid-game can be difficult. So, heed this advice in these group missions, and, try and find static groups of players to group with, and some people on my Discord actually are always looking for groups and stuff like that. So come by and make some friends. Anyways, hopefully this helped you guys. I'm going to start trying to update a lot of my other older videos with more relevant information, just because within the past, like literally the past 6 months of updates have done such huge dramatic changes. Even the past 3 months have done such hugely dramatic changes to the game that it's like almost, I don't want to say it's completely different because it's like the same missions, but grinding the game and doing different things is definitely a lot more different than it was when the game first released. So, anyways, I hope this helped you guys, and I will talk to you later.